Okay, I'm live. I don't feel alive. Didn't get much sleep because my little kitty Tora had to go to the emergency vet with a broken foot. She's home now, and already she wants to go outside, but she is not allowed outside for at least a week. It's going to be quite a battle. Right now, she's getting a good long drink of water, so I'll give her a minute before I bring her to greet her adoring fans and show off her pretty cast on her poor hurt leg. Here we go. Come here, Tora. Come here, sweetie pie. Yes. Come on. That's my good little girl, Bear. Just come say hi to your adoring fans and show off your cast. Poor thing. That light is hitting it wrong. Let's see if I can turn off the light. Looks a little more like it is. It's actually green, not yellow. Yes, poor thing. She's getting around better than before, but she's kind of clumsy. Oh, let's let you go sit down on your favorite chair. There, here. That's my babe. Yes, that's my good little girl. Poor thing. She is now a $723 cat. That's more than I make in a month off my Social Security. Hello, everyone. Yeah, we don't know for sure how she did it, but she also had an ouchie under her chin, on her neck, so we suspect a stray dog. Anyway, she's healing. Um, wow. Well, so much for my stimulus check. Good thing I had it. Good thing I didn't spend it all right away on frivolous things. I didn't get much sleep. With COVID, you don't go in. You park and call them, and then they look at the cat and call you, and then they demand money, and then eventually they tell you what they want to do, and they need more money, and the cat's health history and age and all. Okay, so hello, Sleepy Dave, Strontium X Nitrate, Oswald, um, Sandra, Doggerland Survivor. Oh, Henning Binder Up or Binder Up uh, on here on another browser. Good to see you all. I am so tired. Not particularly sleepy as much as tired. most of the night fielding calls and text messages from the vet and sending money through their payment website. Hmm. First, there was a deposit of $110, and then there was $290 for the X-ray and an expert to um, evaluate the X-ray. So that was $400 before they ever helped my poor kitty cat. And then they decided that she had to be um, anesthetized, unconscious for putting the cast on because it would be painful. And I asked them to give her something for pain there, and they did, an injection of whatever cats get for pain. And they put the cast on her hind leg without any surgery, and it's still a total of $723. Now, I say leg, it's her foot, but the hind foot on a cat is really big. It's more like a shin, than just toes. Ugh, poor thing. When she first got here, she really wanted to go outside. She isn't allowed for at least a week, but I think she's beginning to realize that. Oh, that's a shadow. It looks weird on my screen. She's beginning to realize that she can't get around well enough to go outside. Gabriel. She'll be able to go outside when she has healed for at least a week and they take the cast off. Poor thing was in pain, and every vet I called said, "Oh, we don't do broken bones. Take her to the emergency vet." And I finally got some recommendations for which emergency vet to use. You want a good one. You don't want to take your beloved pet to some butcher. So anyway, I don't know how she broke her foot, but I suspect there was a dog involved. Poor little thing. Either that or a skunk or a raccoon. Mm, God. Anyway, she's only a year old and a sweet little thing. She doesn't know how to meow, but she did do some kitten squeaks in the car. She was saying, "Mommy." That cats only meow for their mommies. Yeah, well, we ain't gonna let nature take its course this time. I lost, a few years ago, I lost three cats to um, rattlesnakes, and one cat just never came home, so I don't know what happened to him. Blackie and Inky died from old age. They were 19 years old. The others were not young cats, but they were about 10. I don't go out and get cats, they just show up. Right, Doggerland. Sometimes if you can't stop the bleeding or the poor cat can't walk, you gotta go to a doctor. Although one time, many moons ago, back in the 90s, so over 20 years ago, I took the neighbor's cat to the vet. The poor thing had been attacked by dogs and had two broken legs. Took him to the vet. The vet x rayed him and said, "Well, it's best not to do surgery, just keep him real quiet and calm while he heals." So I put him in the closet, the bedroom closet, with the door open for him, but he wasn't going anywhere, and kept him fed and so forth. Kept changing his bedding because he couldn't really use a litter box. And one of the neighbor's cats decided he was a doctor or something. He kept coming over to visit the poor injured kitty. And the guy next door, it was his son's cat. He wasn't home at the time. That's why I took the cat to the vet. And he was mad at his son, so he wouldn't pay for the vet. But when that boy came home after a couple, oh, I think it was over a month, he was so happy to have his cat. And the cat knew him. And it didn't cost much to have the vet x ray him. I think it was like $100. Nowadays, $100 is just the deposit to show good faith before they give you the real bill. Anyway, I got one contribution of $200, and my son will help as much as he can. And once again, he is not wealthy, he works for a living. Somebody makes money off of the works of Philip K. Dick, but it sure isn't his children. You know, they get some money, but not what the lawyers in Hollywood are getting. So, anyway, uh, I'll get by, I guess. I might crank up the old GoFundMe. Maybe I'll get by without it. We'll see. But my kitty cat will get better, and she needs to get better. For now, she's just being quiet and sleeping. Problem is, her favorite chair is my favorite chair. When I was growing up, Mom didn't take us to the doctor unless she couldn't stop the bleeding, and she would take the dog to the vet, but not the cat. If the cat got too sick, she'd take it to the pound, the animal shelter, where it would be promptly killed. Sick and injured pets are not adoptable. Our shelters do a little better job nowadays, but it just isn't where you want to take your beloved pet. Oh, I'm just worn out. Didn't couldn't sleep. Had to field phone calls and send money. I had a friend drive us both ways, taking Tora to the vet and bringing Tora home, which was nice. Oh boy. Anyway, I kind of put the kibosh on any topics I might have covered today. I am writing another story. It will be translated into German for Austrian. Uh, Anthology. They will. The guy is trying to set up his own small publishing house, and my short story, "The Mirror Cracked," is in the anthology Mirror Maze, which is available for pre-order and will be released on December 8th. I think I have a link for that. Let me see. Not to be confused with Mirror Maze by Michael. Jordan. It's either Michael or Michelle. But Mirror Maze, a Dream Punk anthology. Mirror Maze, a Dream Punk anthology. That's an L, not a K. And this is pre-order. In other words, you won't get it right away. You won't get it till the release date of December 8th. And there's a number of really interesting stories in that anthology. But of course, I'm most proud of mine. It involves a mirror and a cat. And just by coincidence, because I wrote it before COVID, it involves a worldwide deadly plague. Don't know why that came to mind when I was asked to write a story, but it did. Uh, oh boy, I really am wonky. Got sunshine coming in through the windows, and my kitty cat is home. And I'm ready for a nap. Well, I'm wonky for good reason. I'm not sure what dream punk is, but I guess the editor of the anthology knows. Sorry about that. My sinuses are bothering me. It doesn't smell smoky, but we do have drift smoke from several brush fires and forest fires that are, yeah, wildfires, that's it, that are miles away, but the wind blows the smoke. So we're all dealing with itchy eyes and runny noses. But we're not, whoa, we aren't in danger here so far. I can't make Tora move. She's so happy on her little spot on her favorite chair. It's a recliner that rocks and swivels. But from now on, if I want the door open, I have to confine Tora first. So I have a crate for that purpose. It's bigger than the one I carried her in, so she can move around a little if she wants. And of course, her blankie is in there, her nice, soft, warm, fuzzy blankie. Oh, I guess maybe I am sleepy, but you know, our pets are kind of our children. At a certain point, your children grow up and you have to let them go. But that doesn't mean you don't take care of them when they're hurt or ill or they need you in some way. Wow. Smoothest reeds, 3 stigmata, and a scanner darkly. I don't know. Oh, I like to start people off with the early novels like The Unteleported Man. Do you know I still haven't read Solar Lottery? Every time I pull out that book and start to read it, something happens to pull me away from it. I did read a little more of that book, The Shadow of Blooming Grove, the biography of what's his name, that president, Warren G. Harding. I don't think it's as boring as Phil said it was, but it wasn't the woo woo stuff he had expected, the amazing revelations of mystical insight. It, I still think perhaps his vision or dream was most likely about Bohemian Grove. But Wikipedia has a list of Bohemian Grove members. Ambrose Bierce was a founding member. He's that journalist who disappeared. He went to Mexico and was never seen again. No, he isn't in the list on Wikipedia. That doesn't mean he didn't go there as a guest. I don't know why some of these entries are red and some are blue. Oh, interesting. Well, let's see. Business Insider. At least 5 U.S. presidents were members. Well, which 5? Guests are welcome, but winers must vacate the premises at night. It doesn't seem to say which presidents were members, but here's an article about Bohemian Grove. Yeah, well, I think, yes, Harding was born in or near Blooming Grove, Ohio. Yeah, but Bohemian Grove was very important in the history of his pioneer family. Okay, Theodore Roosevelt accepted an honorary club membership. Herbert Hoover was an active and enthusiastic club member. That's 2. Um, Richard Nixon attended Bohemian Grove as a guest. Someone named Hoover invited him, but was that Herbert Hoover or J. Edgar Hoover? Richard Nixon was recorded trashing the Bohemian clubs. Oh, when Nixon went there, President Eisenhower was also there. And but 2 years later they ran, so they weren't president and vice president yet when they when they went there. It was 1950, and they ran for president and vice president in 1952, and they won. Ronald Reagan went there as a guest. In 1980. And George H.W. Bush, well, yeah, that figures. You know, Daddy Bush, Reagan's vice president. All right, there's another article here about 20 U.S. presidents who belonged to secret societies. Okay, it has something about Warren Harding. He was a Freemason and order of the Hoo-Hoo. That's what it says. Let's see what else it has. Hey. There were rumors that Harding had black ancestry, and the family won't even talk about it. But they insist it was just an unfounded rumor. Warren G. Harding. Well, let's go ahead and link this article. It's interesting too. It's in Business Insider again. Oh, they had been planning to put in Biden. And then this chaos ensued with Donald Trump. They scared off a couple of outsiders who had a bit of a chance. But Trump doesn't scare that easily. He likes chaos, he likes danger, he likes to take risks. I'm not thrilled with Trump, but my God, can't the Democrats put up someone who is at least can at least stay awake during an interview? I can't stay awake. Yeah, both Bushes and Clinton and a few others were in the Skull and Bones Club. I keep forgetting whether that was Harvard or Yale, but it was for entitled rich kids who always got the gentleman's C. They really failed their college courses, but because of family influence and money, they were given a passing grade, a C. See, the real elite don't demand straight A's or even A's and B's. Just get a passing grade. That's good enough. Skull and Bones was Yale. Thank you, Oswald. I once wanted to go to Stanford University, but I'm glad I didn't. I had the pleasure of going to Chapman College before it became a university. They were focused on teaching and learning and hands on experience, and then They went for the money, became a university with a school of this and a school of that, and so forth. They were already well known for their law school and their annual economic forecast. I am delighted that the communications department no longer has to beg and borrow cameras from alumni and the parents of current students. They have some really good equipment now, but we learned a lot by getting by on a shoestring with whatever we could scavenge. Oh, wow. And I just can't get into digital photography the way I did with film. It just is not the same. My phone is telling me something. Let's see what. What, did I miss a phone call? No, I got a text message. A couple of them. Okay, they want me to donate to their political campaign. Sorry, I just spent all my money on my cat. And they want me to buy wine glasses on the Amazon treasure truck. I don't think so. Wine tastes the same no matter what kind of glass it's in. One notable exception is brandy. It really is best served in a snifter where the top of the bowl is gets narrower and narrower. It's for sniffing. And oh, I love a good single malt Scotch whiskey. Haven't had any since Phil was alive, but I remember it. Uh, if I had gone to Stanford, I might have been able to participate in the remote viewing experiments, but that's okay. Ah, population bomb. Yeah, right. And that's the reincarnation of oh, it was an old theory. Malthusian, Thomas Malthus, the idea that a species would become overpopulated, run out of resources, and go extinct. Long before Paul Ehrlich, Malthus was uh, spouting that nonsense. Here we go. Now, Malthus was born in 1766 and died in 1834. And he developed a theory of population. The population of the world in 1804 was 1 billion. Today it's 7.6 billion. And yet, despite arguments that this number is far too high for a sustainable situation on our planet, there is statistically enough food produced for everybody. The problem is distribution. Now, why is the Malthusian theory wrong? Well, first, population growth is not exponential, it goes up and down. Malthus thought it would double every 25 years. Well, it hasn't done that. The other thing is technical change. We find ways to produce more food and to better distribute it. And in fact, um, we're having trouble distributing all that food. A lot goes to waste. And even with 7.6 billion people, the entire population of the human population of this planet could live comfortably in the state of Texas, leaving all kinds of farmland and fisheries free of humans and open for producing food. Of course, that's where people want to live. Some of the best farmland in the world here in California has been paved over and turned into cities. It's a crime. Vegans take it too far. I'm mostly vegetarian, but I do enjoy a good steak or roast beef or turkey. Um, I don't like the idea of killing animals, but frankly, it's pretty much impossible to be healthy without some animal products. Ah, fishes are good. Pescatarian is good. My water's empty. Uh, that's my sweet girl. She's such a good kitty. Oh, sweetie wants to be fed. Hang on, guys. See how I can feed sweetie and not allow Tora to escape. You just sit where you are. I gotta put the food out for sweetie. Here you go, kid. I'm sorry you can't come today. Okay? Yeah. Tora is not ensconced in her little. Uh, Actually, it's a carrier made for a small dog, so it'll be quite roomy for a little kitty cat. Yeah, I like fish. You have to be really careful about freshness with fish. Old fish does not have to have actually gone bad to make you very unhappy after eating it. And when fish is bad, it can kill you. But I love a good uh, halibut. Problem is, it's super expensive and hard to find because halibut has been overfished. I used to really like salmon, but I'm kind of tired of it. So lately I generally have a can of tuna. Technically, tuna is not a fish. It's whatever they caught. But just like sardines. Now, albacore is an actual type of fish. So your albacore tuna is considered the best because it's an actual fish and not just whatever they caught. What is that blue thing that there is a there is a saltwater fish called tuna, but there are 15 different species of tuna. So when you say tuna, you're not really naming a fish. There's 15 different kinds of tuna. Bluefin, that's the big one. The big blue tuna fish is a bluefin. Okay, enough Googling. Now I know that there are ways to hide your traces and use engines that don't track you and stuff. But my brand of paranoia tells me that um, using those incognito search engines and web pages and stuff would just make me look awfully suspicious. And someone would try to break in and see what I'm doing. So why not just let them see that I'm looking up a bunch of stuff that's kind of woo woo? I try to avoid the paranormal, but it comes after me. It follows me around. Several hours before I fell and broke my hip, I had a vision of falling and breaking my leg. I wasn't sure what part of my leg. Couldn't stop it from happening, so what was the point? If tuna are the chicken of the sea, bluefin must surely be the turkeys. Okay. Now let's look up albacore as long as we're on the subject. Albacore. It's one of the tuna species, also known as the longfin tuna. It's a temperate and tropical fish. Uh, Albacore. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, albacore tends to be the most expensive. It has the whitest meat. Well, I had an experience with a Ouija board that lasted a good year, and never quite shook the evil side of it until I finally called on Jesus Christ, and I really meant it and really believed it. I could stave it off, I could send it away by calling on God or just being my stubborn, ornery self, but it kept coming back. Until then, some kind of shadow person was not just lurking, but actually jumping on me. Not fun. Not something you want to seek out. And it no longer happens, so that's good. Oh boy. Now, see, Sweetie is feral. She won't just come in when I open the door. She backs off, and I have to walk away and wait and leave the door open. If she even thinks I might be heading toward the door, she runs back outside. So this morning, because Tora is convalescing and not locked up just yet, Sweetie is eating outside. She's a lovely little long-haired black tuxedo kitty. I did catch her once and get her spayed. I tried and finally gave up on luring her with food because she popped out some kittens. So I put the kittens in the cage instead of putting food in the cage. She went in to get her babies and I shut the door. So, aha, I got you. And she still hates me. But actually, she'll kind of get close to me if I'm handing out treats. She loves temptations. I don't just believe in demons, I know they're real. There's a local guy who will spend as long as 6 hours straight shouting, "Shut the F up," and he uses the whole F word. But if you happen to be walking by when he's doing that, he'll stop and say, "Oh, hello." And then when he's past you, he goes back to "Shut the F up," really loud. And he has quite a pair of lungs on him. Well, in Jewish tradition, the demons are the spirits of the dead Nephilim. Being hybrids, half human and half divine, the Nephilim souls have no proper place to go. So they're doomed to roam the earth. And they thirst and they hunger, but they can't satisfy their lust or their hunger or thirst without a body, so they seek to inhabit one of our bodies. Father Malachi Martin explained that most people who think they're possessed are actually oppressed. They're seeking help. Someone who is perfectly possessed is happy that way and doesn't want help. Oh dear, I have green eyes, Oswald. Sometimes they look more brown than green, but they're emerald green. Now, I could have sworn that it was the demons of the Gadarene, and yet people keep saying Gerasene, so I don't get it. But okay, the one that said, "I am legion, for we are many." Yeah, it's Gerasene, but it's the miracle of the Gadarene swine, the exorcism of the Gerasene demoniac, frequently known, good old Wikipedia, as the miracle of the Gadarene swine and the exorcism of Legion is one of the miracles performed by Jesus. Yeah, even the pigs would rather die than be possessed by those demons. Uh, well, I try not to do the woo-woo stuff. It's dangerous. I will never channel anything. Not go in there. You're inviting something into your very soul, and you don't really know what it is when you channel. And to a certain extent, I could read minds within my nuclear family, but never did me any good, really. Tracy Twyman, I've heard that name before. Channeling ruined her, huh? Not good. I don't want to be ruined. Well, I'm going to have to take a nap or something. I'm really, really loopy from lack of sleep and worrying about my kitty cat. She's sleeping. Tora's fast asleep, but once in a while one of her ears kind of twitches. She's listening to me. Uh, should get a little food in me, maybe some cold cereal. I have these biscuits, which I was going to eat yesterday. Of all the crazy situations, after all the jam I've made, I don't have any jam. I ate it all. Well, mostly I gave it away. At the end of a batch, you don't have enough to fill another jar, so I just pour it into a mug, a coffee mug, and use it on my toast or my peanut butter sandwich. Oh, but I have honey. I have local raw honey. I'm going to put that on a biscuit. That I can go for. Yeah. A biscuit with honey and a glass of milk. Oh, and I have chocolate malt flavor Ovaltine to go with it. I don't know about that, Oswald. I think local raw honey can do a lot of good. Didn't the Bible has a lot to say about honey, like the land of milk and honey? And Let's just look that up real quick. Honey in the Old Testament. I know there was a thing about Samson, but I don't like that story. Honey is a sign of abundance, ease, and prosperity, and it was a symbol of good health for the prophet Samuel. What does honey mean in Hebrew? The word is eretz savat halav u'devash. Um, the word translate, oh, that's flowing with milk and honey. So I guess honey is, I don't know which part is the word honey. Insects are not kosher, but honey is. It's made by bees, not made of bees. Bees are extremely clean insects, not meaning kosher, but just clean. If they land on any contaminated surface, they will get sick and die themselves. In the Old Testament times, honey was rare enough to be considered a luxury. It was used in baking sweets. Okay. Interesting. Honey is supposed to be useful in medicine. No, the Huns have nothing to do with honey. Hungary, by the way, is where the Huns settled down and became farmers and villagers. When they were through raping and pillaging. And yes, they had quite an advanced culture in many ways, but they were still bad people. Raping and pillaging is not, well, I want to say civilized, but civilized basically means living in a city, and our cities are some of the hotbeds of raping and pillaging, especially right now. I'm beginning to pay for um, advising people to move out of the city if they can. People are moving to these mountains and driving up property prices and therefore property values, and as a result, property taxes. My property taxes are over $2,000 a year. That's $168 a month. Horrible. That's interesting. Attila the Hun, the only man with more living descendants than Alexander the Great. Amazing. Anyway, I really gotta get a little food and a little sleep. I'm just glad my kitty cat's okay. So, as usual, thank you all for listening. And it's been over an hour. That's a good long run for someone who's dead tired. Thank you, Oswald, praying for Tora. She's a good girl. She's a very expensive cat now. Okay, catch you guys later.